Good day everyone, I am Izanami Gaming and today I'm going to show you a pre-recorded video on my main account. Okay, as you can see, I'm using the stall comp, which is Izanami, Eden, Anubis, Athena, and Oberon. Okay, so I have a faction bonus on this team because it has two Shadow Watch, two Verdian, and one Luminarch. Okay, the increased stats are what I mainly focus, and also this team is good for stalling time for Izanami. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Anubis. Okay, so Anubis is a tank that has great debuff capabilities like the crit reduction on backline heroes and also the crit reduction on his mummies. Okay, so the buff on him applies on allies, which reduce damage taken from physical attacks. And also the runes that I use on him is either nature or light rune. It depends on the situations, and if there is too much CC, I put the nature rune on Anubis, and light rune if there's no CC heroes. And the light rune is very much what keeping him alive for a little bit longer. And the artifacts that I use on him is shield and Thor's hammer if optional, but he dies too quickly because he isn't invested too much. So the divinity talents that I use on him is resonance and black hole, because when his energy reaches to 300, his energy goes to 0 again, but the benefit of it is shutting down a carry's energy. So I have I have a advantage of it because I want the enemy carry to be a little bit longer to ult, because I want Izanami to deal the most damage on my team. And also I'm going to talk about his weapon level. It's currently on 300 plus. 350 plus. And I'm planning to make his weapon level to 400. That's the maximum I can do for him. And I'm going to talk about Eden. Okay, so Eden really helps me my support early to late game, because she can recover energy faster for Izanami and protects her backline carries. Energy recovery is what makes my Izanami to pop her ult faster, And do take note that Izanami is a skill-based mage carry. So in every game, we know that there is pros and cons in every heroes. And that's what I really like about Eden. And damage on her basic attack, so I pair her with Eden. So Eden protects her backline allies like Artemis, Zeus, Izanami, etc. She is a great support in protecting backline allies, and also her energy block is what makes her OP in protecting allies. So in this clip, I have Persephone borrowed from the Friends. And I really like her debuff. But the downside of Izanami is she cannot lifesteal that much on 1v1 because her ult relies on enemies. If there is 5 enemies, her lifesteal is insane. She can 1v5 but cannot 1v1. There's always a saying that there is cons and pros on every hero in the game, so we must make the most of it on using them by smart lineups and smart positioning. Make the most use of it on the heroes that I use. And also I'm going to talk about Oberon. So Oberon is a very good fighter for fighter tank for 3 seconds. Okay, so if you're up against Artemis in the campaign and gets one-shotted, so I use Oberon to counter Artemis because Oberon blocks any kinds of damage and debuff. So Artemis cannot knock back Oberon for 3 seconds. Any frontline heroes. So I take advantage of that, and that's what makes my whole team, my Izanami, alive. And also I reposition Izanami in every position that I can think of, depending on where she gets countered the most and where she can counter the heroes. Okay, so Izanami is my great carry in early to late game because not lifesteal that much, but still that's what I like about her because she is early to late game carry. Even though her lifesteal is low, every hero needs in early game you always need a support to heal, right? So for example, Susanoo cannot lifesteal in the early game, but in mid to late game he can lifesteal much like Izanami, but can only lifesteal one hero at a time because his weapon level is in In level 400 on his weapon, he can lifesteal based on his HP lost, and also Izanami heals insane. She is a godlike mage that has insane healing unlike any other mages. And she can 1v5 but cannot 1v1. So yeah. I maxed out her divinity and her weapon level. 500 is the maximum, and her divinity is 18 plus. And also her stats have gone up because of it. And also her permanent build is Dark Rune and Chakra. I don't use other builds on Izanami because this is what I preferred on her. The Dark Rune increases her damage, her attack power by 8%, and it stacks up to 3%, to 3 times, and lasts for the whole battle. That is a great increase on her power. And also, she can recover energy on the Dark Rune every second. So, Izanami is a skill-based mage, and the Chakra increases her damage on her ult. So, the best divinity talent that I use on her is Savvy, Engulf, and Torment on 6 divinity nodes. On 5 divinity nodes is Savvy and Engulf. On 4 divinity nodes is Torment and Savvy. On 3 divinity nodes is Engulf and Torment. On 2 divinity nodes is Symbiosis and Torment. This is descending order on her divinity talent. So yeah, the missing on her is her ascension and her enhancement. So if she can be on Infinity 3 and her enhancement to 30 plus, I'm going to be focusing on other heroes like Susanoo, GM, and Tamamo. But on other Shadow Arch hero, I'm going to be focusing on Anubis for my second tank because Athena is my best first tank. Okay, so Torment on her divinity increases her damage dealt by 12%. So every debuffed enemies, for example, 3 enemies debuffed, so adds on another 36 damage dealt on them. And if there is 5, so there will be an increase of 60%. And also on Engulf, it increases her lifesteal by 12% when she ults for 2 times. So if she cannot ult for 2 times, her engulf, in her lifesteal cannot be above because she relies on her ult and her lifesteal. So I use Eden, Dark Rune for that sweet energy recovery. Okay, so Anubis is very good tank on Shadow Arch. I like about his debuffs that crit reduction and the slow is what I focusing on debuffing enemies. Okay, so Eden, I use either Water Rune or Air Rune. Air Rune for spam heal or protecting backline carries or allies. And Water Rune for the increased heal and dodge on her allies. And also it applies to self. So yeah, an increased healing. So as you can notice, some clips are missing because I cannot record it because I was full on storage, so I had to delete some of it. I'm close to the boss. I've been stuck on this chapter for 2 weeks because it's too hard, and I'm glad that there is events for me to catch up on my heroes. As you can see, Thanatos is her nemesis. It's like Izanami, but it's a he, not a she. Izanami counters minions and totems, so it's a great way of healing a lot in facing those kind of enemies. So take advantage of it. And also to the next clip. As you can see, I got bursted. So you see the debuff. I use the nature rune on Anubis because he gets CC'd a lot. And light rune for the healing, increased healing when his health is below 40%. And the minions is what makes him alive and tanky. So I'm on the boss stage, and the reason why I put Athena on the bottom side on the front because Athena moves to another position so that Persephone can avoid the bounce damage. I really noticed that Athena moves around if there is a enemy in the middle, so I put Athena on there. So as you can see, I'm close to defeating the boss, and there we go. we defeated the boss.
This was fun.
It was a long journey on this chapter. Kinda rough because it's too hard to keep up with only one carry. Surviving that long. And I'm going to show you my equipment and my divinity on Izanami and her weapon level. It's all maxed out on divinity and weapon except the ascension and enhancement. This is what I used on Zeus on that boss, and I'm going to make his weapon level to 450. That's the maximum that I can invest in him. I use on Eden. I didn't use the energy field on the boss stage because I want the increased attack speed and dodge. This is kind of funny because I was thinking of ways to deal more damage, so I put the Staff of Sharur on Athena and Meteor. As you can see, they are 400. Persephone is still on Legendary 3. This is what I use on that boss. Yeah.
At least I have the prettiest shield.
I'm still far on investing Persephone. Okay, so you can see that I equipped the air rune and Excalibur on Persephone on that stage. That I equipped him with the nature rune and the shield rune. I pair light rune with the Thor's hammer.
My minions are endless.
And in this video, recorded video is kind of late, so I apologize for it. Okay, so as you can see, I repositioned everything, changed their builds, their divinity, and everything. And I'm going to explain Athena on the other video, so don't miss out. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you like my journey as a free-to-play Izanami main. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be posting more. See you soon. Bye-bye.
It's you, it's always you.